Hello, my loves. I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on my channel, where we are talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse, so we can come into our soul purpose, our true life, and our true authentic power and selves, right? Because narcissistic abuse is really an attack, a spiritual attack mainly, on our self and our identity, on our authentic power, on what we get to do, be and have, right? And who we are fundamentally. We lose our essence in these situations. And so I wanted to talk today about the narcissist triggers your worst fears. Yeah? I'm going to talk about how and why they do this. Let's go to why first, right? Why is because as soon as we're in fear, right, our consciousness lowers. Yeah? When we're in a lot of fear, we feel powerless. We feel helpless, right? The narcissist wants you to make them your God, your source of everything, yeah? So that you believe that your survival depends on them. And in the circumstances in your life right now, and I've been here many times, it may look like it does, yeah? I've had it in business, in relationships where it's my main source of income, you know, and it turns out to be a narcissist, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know, what's going on? Or a living situation with a partner, or whatever it is that has you bound, yeah? They trigger your worst fear, which is that you cannot survive without them. But it's beyond that. It's like your biggest survival needs won't be met without them. That's probably the better way of saying it, yeah? That makes you controllable. That makes you at a lower level of consciousness, because at that lower level of consciousness, you're not going to manifest your best life, right? Because you're not a match for it. I talk about manifestation and how to create our true authentic lives all the time. And the best way to manifest is to be in our authentic power, in our hearts, right? In our truth, because then we're a match to our true authentic lives, right? The ones we really want in our hearts. So the narcissist is always going to kind of steal that away from you, which is your personal power, your true life experience, so that you become a source to them, yeah? You become a source to them of energy, of life force, and they can, just like vampires, feed off you. How do they trigger your worst fears? Often very subliminally. They know what they are. They work in the psychic realm. So how do they do this? It's like small things that make you doubt yourself, yeah? Small things that make you question, you know, just put you in a fear consciousness, put you in a survival consciousness, and also that dysregulate your nervous system. Because as soon as our nervous system's dysregulated, yeah, we don't feel stable in the world or safe. Right, so we're going to go right back into fight and flight response, right back into like survival needs. We can't hear our intuition in that space. We can't, we don't feel we can trust ourselves, and we feel very disconnected from ourselves. So they always are dysregulating your nervous system, because they create chaos, they create drama, and the dynamics often, like on the trauma bond, it's like push and pull, love bomb and then complete abuse, like, you know, hot and cold. You never know where you are. Then you get completely obsessed with them, wondering what they're doing, why they're doing it, you know, what's going to happen next, putting you on a nervous system roller coaster, which is very difficult for you to actually come into your own body and your own truth, yeah? So when someone is making you feel unstable, it's a red flag. Now that is sometimes, you know, there's a mixture of things going on. One is we have some inner work to do on our own safety and security in the world, to feel safe and secure. If we've been through trauma, which I've had a lot of it in my life, you know, I've experienced dangerous situations. I wasn't safe. And many of you may have been there where you just weren't safe. And so when that gets triggered, you know, that PTSD, that trauma gets reignited in us, and then we've got more evidence that the world's dangerous, that people are dangerous. We're going to go back into the fear consciousness. So one, we want to regulate our nervous systems. Two, we really want to be aware when people are purposely trying to throw us off and dysregulate us, because it's actually very dangerous to us. Living in this fight and flight survival for too long makes us physically sick as well as like mentally sick, right? So when we can understand that, like, Our worst fears being triggered is what literally disrupts our lives, because we can't think straight when we are faced with worry, doubt, insecurity. We can't be in our power and in that consciousness. People that are constantly making us feel confused, unsafe, right? Invalidated, not secure, not safe. They're inconsistent. That we're not sure where we stand. 1 minute it's up, 1 minute it's down. They say things that are comments that they're probably not, like sometimes you get overt narcissists saying abusive things, but if they're a covert narcissist, these are the trickiest ones. They'll say things at your hardest moments in life often where it's like unbelievable. You might be going through a crisis and they'll say, well, that's not that bad. Or I could do that easily. Or, like nothing supportive, nothing to make you come back into a sense of security and safety. They will not build you up. They will tear you down and actually toy with you, often in your worst moments, often in your, like when you're actually going into like fear, they will kind of enjoy it. Remember, they feed off your pain. Now, pain is a low vibration, like our kind of lower vibrational energy is like low vibration, but it's a very strong energetic charge when we're in pain. And that's where they get their energy because when you're in pain, when we're in fear, we have a very strong energy charge to it. It hits us very, very hard. And that's where they get their fuel from. That's why they don't put you into love, because although love is a higher vibration, the charge isn't as high. So their siphon doesn't get met in the same way in the energetic realm. So what to do? One, we've got to regulate our nervous systems and set much better kind of boundaries on what we'll accept, and be willing to question what people's intentions are and what they're saying to us, right? Because as soon as you feel like someone just hit you with something, and sometimes, as I say, it's not going to be necessarily outward abuse, but it could be by diminishing your experience, or they know you're scared of something and they're kind of like, you can feel the energy when someone's kind of toying with you, kind of enjoying watching you squirm in a weird way, right? We've got to know this is unhealthy for us and actually quite dangerous, because it's actually going to set us off. It's actually going to set off our nervous system, remind us of times in our past or anything that we've experienced like that, yeah? 2 is do as much as we possibly can, right, to trust ourselves, to remind ourselves of who we are, because again, the biggest part of this cycle is disconnection from self. And when we're disconnected from ourselves, so the narcissist is soul detached, but they try and disconnect us from our own self and soul. So when you're disconnected from yourself, right, we don't feel powerful at all, because we feel kind of disconnected, right? We don't know what to trust. We don't know what to believe. We're likely to go around in circles and ask everyone what they think and not be clear in ourselves, not have clarity, right? So when we can drop back into our own energy and ground, like be very grounded in it, yeah, we start seeing the wood through the trees. We start being unprepared, not willing to be spun around in a circle. I'm not willing to be spun around, yeah? I'm not willing to even, I know when I feel a dig from someone. And it's not saying that everyone does this on purpose. People make mistakes. Not everyone's a narcissist and not everyone's trying to hurt you. But our nervous system regulation is the most important thing, right? So you're allowed to say to people, can you just, what do you mean by that? Like, that's actually making me feel worse. Like, it's not, I don't find that very encouraging. Or why are you treating me like that? Or just say, this isn't good for my mental health. Yeah? When our nervous system is triggered, it takes us a while to calm it down, right? It takes us a while to come back into ourselves. And so it's really important that we know how, like, we have tools around us, or we have ways of doing it. And no matter what's going on in the world, we find that kind of space to come back into ourselves and see the truth. Because when they spin you in these cycles, you just go into the fear. You just go into the pain. You just go into the worst case scenario. And that's where they want you. You are controllable there. right? When you're happy and yourself and in your essence, you're not able to be controlled because you're sure of yourself. This is what the whole thing is. It's tearing you down, tearing your essence down, disconnecting you from your own soul, disconnected so that you're in fear, and there they can control you. So just know that's what's going on. Be aware when it's happening. Take the time to regulate your nervous system as much as you can, right, in this, and come back to seeing the wood through the trees, and try and surround yourself with people who can see clearly, who can actually see clearly and have your best interests at heart. Because if you don't have those people yet, you don't have them. And I know what that's like. But when you learn, when you can just regulate and see that I'm being spun around here, then you can put a stop to it, no matter what's going on in your life. Because we don't want those influences and those energies coming in when we actually need to really think and claim our sovereignty. If you want to join Sovereign, right, I'm doing it differently now. So I've opened a new group. I'm going to keep that open. It's self-paced, but it's supported. So what that means is you get to comment. I'm about to start this weekend the Q&A. So there's going to be live Q&As. You get to actually write your questions in, also show up for the Q&A if you want, and get direct Q&A support during that program. So it's now open if you want to join it. I'm thinking of just building a community out of that. So if you've done Sovereign before, I'm going to email the past groups and let you join that one as well. I think I'll do access to this for a year, and building a community, having Q&As, having a live chat. I'm going to just do it a little bit differently than I had been doing it, so that we can actually build a group in it. That's what I want to do. I've also got Live Fully Now, which is all about manifestation, manifesting our best life, just like plugins where you get resources and you get inspiration and you get tools, right? And they're two different things. So if you want to join those, and I did an offer. I did an offer with someone today, so I'll do it with all of you. I've got an offer on private coaching as well that is drastically reduced in pricing, so that might be quite exciting. Lots of love, guys. Please comment, please share, please subscribe, please support my channel, and I'll speak to you soon.